The Colossus and Majestic classes were the first aircraft carriers of many navies and also the last for some. They were two different models of the same class. These light fleet carriers played crucial roles in many battles. Today we're investigating the Colossus class and the Majestic class, the pride of many navies. Also known as the 1942 Design Light Fleet Carrier and the British Light Fleet Carrier, the Colossus and Majestic classes are among the most influential vessels of modern naval history. 8 nations commissioned the ships, some of which waved the flags of 3 different countries during their service. The Colossus and Majestic classes left their mark on the First Cold War. However, they were the child of the Second World War. At the beginning of the Second World War, the Royal Navy realized that it had to increase the number of its aircraft carriers. Building a large number of big fleet carriers was economically and industrially impossible. So, in mid-1941, the Admiralty began a project on a new design. The escort carriers, designed only for convoy protection, could perform offensive roles secondarily. Also, their low cruise speeds prevented them from accompanying the high-speed cruisers and battleships. They didn't have enough aircraft capability. The new ship, which was defined as the intermediate aircraft carrier first and the light fleet carrier later, would be simple and expandable. The commercial shipyard could build them in a short time. To shorten the time of the design phase, it would be a scaled-down version of the Illustrious class. The propulsion systems would be the same as those used in the Fiji-class cruisers. London approved the project in February 1942. The first ship of the new aircraft carrier class, Hr.Ms. Colossus, was laid down on June 1, 1942. She was launched on September 30, 1943 and commissioned on December 16, 1944. In 1 year, the UK laid down another 14 vessels. Initially, the Royal Navy had planned each ship to be ready for service in 21 months. But while the construction work continued, the design was modified. Therefore, the construction time increased to 27 months and only 6 Colossus-class aircraft carriers were commissioned before Japan surrendered. 4 ships served in the war. Additional 2 ships were completed as maintenance carriers. While construction works continued, the Royal Navy decided to equip the last 6 ships with upgraded catapults, arrestor cables and lifts, and reinforce the flight deck. With these modifications, they could handle faster and heavier aircraft. Also, these aircraft carriers would have more advanced weaponry and radars, as well as the capability of replenishment at sea. This modified variant was redefined as the Majestic class. 5 were completed and the remaining one, Hr.Ms. Leviathan, was not. The first ship of the Majestic class, Hr.Ms. Majestic, was laid down on April 15, 1943. She was launched on February 28, 1945. But because the Second World War ended, the ship was not completed for a long time. The Royal Navy never commissioned a Majestic-class aircraft carrier. The Royal Australian Navy bought Hr.Ms. Majestic. She was commissioned on October 28, 1955 as Hr.Ms. Melbourne. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, France, India, the Netherlands, and the UK operated these ships. The Colossus and the Majestic class aircraft carriers had different general characteristics, and during their service life, they were constantly modified and upgraded. Still, as designed, the complement of the Colossus class was 1,050 people. The ship had a length of 212 meters, a beam of 24 meters, and a draught of 7.09 meters. Its empty and fully loaded displacements were 13,200 and 18,000 tons respectively. 4 10,000 horsepower Admiralty 3-drum boilers provided a top speed of 25 knots. The Colossus class had a range of over 22,000 kilometers, in other words 12,000 nautical miles, at an economical speed of 14 knots. The Majestic class had the same dimensions as the Colossus class, but was 1,500 tons heavier, so it had a draught of 7.54 meters. The Colossus class could carry 52 aircraft. Yet, over time, the Colossus and Majestic classes began to operate heavier jet fighters and anti-submarine warfare aircraft, so their carrying capacity decreased. The Second World War vintage aircraft carriers had a single flight deck. Sometimes, the aircraft could not catch the arrestor cables or the arrestor cables could fail to stop it. So, for safety reasons, the flight deck had to be cleared during landing. However, in war conditions, clearing the flight deck was not always possible, causing devastating accidents. Besides, even though the flight deck was clear, it was common for an aircraft to hit the island. To solve this problem, Dennis Campbell, a Royal Navy captain, developed the angled flight deck design. By the beginning of the jet era, this design became more crucial. The jet fighters had higher landing speeds and needed a longer distance to stop. The new design gave an aircraft carrier two long flight decks. The angled flight deck was first tested in 1952 on the Colossus class aircraft carrier Hr.Ms. Triumph. These aircraft carriers had no armor. So, during the last stage of the Pacific War, the Royal Navy operated its 4 Colossus-class ships outside the range of Japanese kamikaze aircraft. The British Colossus-class aircraft carriers were baptized with fire during the Korean War. Hr.Ms. Triumph was one of the first ships deployed to Korea. Her aircraft participated in the first carrier attack of the Korean War. They also provided close air support at the Battle of Incheon. The first landing of a jet on an aircraft carrier was performed on Hr.Ms. Ocean. But during the Korean War, this ship operated the piston-engined Sea Furies. Hr.Ms. Ocean was deployed to Korea twice. Her aircraft conducted numerous crucial ground attack and close air support missions. In 1952, the Sea Furies from the Hr.Ms. Ocean shot down a MiG-15. Hr.Ms. Glory was deployed to Korea 3 times. The Hr.Ms. Theseus was the busiest Colossus-class ship of the Royal Navy during the war. The aircraft carrier was deployed to the region 10 times. During her second patrol, her catapult was broken. So aircraft conducted only combat air patrol missions since they couldn't take off with heavy ground attack weaponry. Yet, until the end of January 1951, the Sea Furies of the Hr.Ms. Theseus carried out more than 1,000 sorties without accidents. During the Korean War, the Royal Australian Navy deployed its Majestic-class aircraft carrier Hr.Ms. Sydney. In August 1951, her aircraft carried out 147 sorties in 2 days. During the second patrol, one aircraft of Hr.Ms. Sydney was shot down behind the enemy lines. Later, the pilot was rescued by a helicopter from the ship. During the war, 2,366 sorties were carried out from Hr.Ms. Sydney. Her 10 aircraft were shot down. Later, during the Vietnam War, Hr.Ms. Sydney served as a troop transport ship. But before that, the French Colossus-class aircraft carrier had already been baptized by fire. In 1946, the French Navy loaned Hr.Ms. Colossus and renamed her as Hr.Ms. 2 years later, the ship was deployed to Vietnam to support French ground troops in the First Indochina War. In her first patrol, the Dauntlesses and Seafires of the FS Hr.Ms. carried out 152 sorties. Later, France deployed the ship in Vietnam 3 more times between 1951 and 1952. During the 1956 Suez Crisis, 3 Colossus-class aircraft carriers fought against Egypt. Hr.Ms. Ocean and Hr.Ms. Theseus conducted the first-ever large-scale helicopter-borne assault from the ship. Their Whirlwind and Sycamore helicopters landed 425 British commandos and 23 tons of supplies in Port Said in 90 minutes. During the war, the F-4U Corsairs of FS Hr.Ms. bombed the airports around Cairo. Royal Canadian Navy commissioned 3 ships of these classes. Yet, none of them served together, one replaced the other. They served as anti-submarine warfare carriers to protect the North Atlantic sea lines against the Soviet submarines. The Royal Netherlands Navy acquired Hr.Ms. Venerable in 1948 and renamed her as Hr.Ms. Caro Dorman. During the West New Guinea dispute, the ship deployed to the region. Indonesia acquired Tu-16 bombers and AS-1 Canal missiles from the USSR to deal with Hr.Ms. Caro Dorman. However, the Netherlands and Indonesia implemented a ceasefire and the aircraft carrier left the area. Later, Hr.Ms. Caro Dorman served as anti-submarine carrier like her Canadian sisters. In 1968, a fire occurred in the ship's boiler room. In the same years, the Netherlands decided to decommission Hr.Ms. Caro Dorman due to budget cuts, so the aircraft carrier was sold to Argentina after refit. She was renamed as ARA 25 de Mayo and replaced her sister ARA Independencia. During the 1982 Falklands War, the aircraft carrier provided air cover for the Argentine landings on the island. After the invasion, the Royal Navy sent the nuclear attack submarine Hr.Ms. Splendid to hunt ARA 25 de Mayo down. On April 23, 1982, Hr.Ms. Splendid detected the target near Puerto Belgrano. Yet the submarine was too far from the exclusion zone, so London did not allow her to attack the Argentine carrier. ARA 25 de Mayo was unaware of the danger. On May 1, 1982, the ship attempted to launch 6 A4s against the British task force. Yet the fully loaded Skyhawks could not take off due to wind. One day later, Hr.Ms. Conqueror sunk the cruiser ARA General Belgrano. Now the Argentine Navy realized the danger. So, ARA 25 de Mayo waited at the port for the rest of the war. India purchased the incompleted Majestic-class carrier Hr.Ms. Hercules in 1957. She was commissioned on April 4, 1961 as INS Vikrant. The ship participated in the liberation of Goa that same year, but did not see any action. During the 1965 Indo-Pakistani War, INS Vikrant was in the dry dock. But 6 years later, she had a chance to prove herself. During the 1971 Indo-Pakistan War, INS Vikrant fought on the Eastern Front. The Pakistan Navy tasked the submarine PNS Ghazi to hunt the Indian aircraft carrier down. Initially, this move prevented INS Vikrant from acting comfortably in the region. However, PNS Ghazi sunk at the very beginning of the war because of unknown reasons. It was a huge relief for INS Vikrant. The Seahawks of the ship attacked the ports of Chattogram and Cox's Bazar, sunk or damaged most of the vessels present. Later, they bombed Khulna, the port of Mongla, and Pakistani barracks in the Chattogram and destroyed many anti-aircraft guns. INS Vikrant had an essential role in the Pakistani defeat. The last ship of the class, NAEL Minas Gerais of the Brazilian Navy, was decommissioned on October 16, 2001. Initially, the Royal Navy had projected the Colossus and Majestic classes as disposable aircraft carriers. After the Second World War, they would be scrapped. Yet, their fate was different. The Colossus and Majestic classes served in 8 nations' navies. They fought in many wars during the First Cold War. They protected the sea lines of the free world. These ships proved that an aircraft carrier was not a luxury of the superpowers, and relatively small countries could have this type of naval vessel. Their achievements have made the Colossus and the Majestic classes a true legend. Thanks for watching our video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to be notified of our new videos. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel. And as always, we would greatly appreciate all of your likes, comments and shares.